Hi, I'm Jeanette Roche. This is Forum Daily West. Here are some of the top stories we have lined up for you tonight. U.S. President Donald Trump threatens Canada with 35% tariffs. Plus, Lethbridge police say if you get a text about a photo radar ticket, delete it. And the photographer who took this iconic photo wins an award. He reflects on that day in Butler, Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for joining us. U.S. President Donald Trump has fired the latest salvo in his trade war with Canada. Trump has slapped a 35% tariff on goods imported from Canada, but a White House official says the 35% tariff rate Trump is threatening Canada with is only expected to be applied to goods already hit with a 25% import tax.
One for Canada, one for Mexico.
Yes, sir.
He had already imposed 25% tariffs back in March after months of threats, allegedly to pressure Canada to crack down on fentanyl smuggling, even though there is relatively modest trafficking in the drug from that country. In the latest announcement, he said that the flow of fentanyl is hardly the only challenge we have with Canada, saying it had many tariff and non-tariff policies and trade barriers. Just hours before the announcement, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney posted on X a picture of himself and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, saying that in the face of global trade challenges, the world is turning to reliable economic partners like Canada.
Mr. President, welcome to Canada.
At the G7 summit in June, Carney and Trump said they were committed to reaching a deal within 30 days, with a deadline of the 21st of July. Trump has sent tariff letters to 23 countries so far, including major trading partners like South Korea and Japan.
This new 35% tariff is set to take effect August 1st, thus revising an original trade deal deadline of July 21st, originally agreed to at the G7. A White House official says no final policy paper has been drafted and Trump has not made a final decision. In a social media post, Prime Minister Mark Carney says Ottawa will defend workers and businesses in response to Trump's latest threat. The head of Unifor says U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war with Canada is just a form of extortion. National President Lana Payne posted her thoughts on Trump's tariffs to social media in wake of American threats to increase tariffs to 35% on non-CUSMA products. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be meeting with his cabinet and Canada's premiers to discuss the new threat, which will take effect August 1st if a trade deal is not reached. Opposition leaders are also reacting to U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariffs. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is calling the move an unjustified attack on the Canadian economy. Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet, meantime, says his party supports increasing trade ties with the European Union, while accusing Prime Minister Mark Carney of failing on his focus of investments in the oil and gas sector. Blanchet says those investments would only affect trade well after Trump has left office. Transport Canada is laying out the details of how the government plans to reimburse car dealerships who are on the hook for thousands of dollars in electric vehicle rebates. The Zero Emission Vehicles program was paused by Transport Canada in January. The new plan from the organization will allow dealerships to claim vehicles delivered to customers as far back as April 1st of 2024. Ottawa spent nearly $3 billion on the program during its 5-year lifespan, providing up to $5,000 for buyers of new zero-emission vehicles. The Alberta government has announced a new investment in affordable housing. Throughout the Affordable Housing Partnership Program with Ottawa, more than $203 million in joint provincial and federal funding has been committed to support the construction of new affordable housing units across Alberta.
The 25 projects that will receive funding from this will create another 2,300 affordable housing units all across Alberta. This is the largest investment by the province that the province has made in the HPP program, and is an increase of $50 million compared to last year. This investment is critical to ensuring that low-income individuals in our province have access to safe, quality housing to be able to make sure that they can live their best lives in the province of Alberta.
Projects like this one will really be transformative for families in Edmonton and across the province. And it will really help bring us closer to a future where every Albertan has a safe and a secure place to call home.
Alberta continues to see strong numbers when it comes to housing starts. Despite making up less than 13% of Canada's population from January to March of 2025, Alberta built more than 25% of all housing starts in the country. The Alberta government is investing $7 million towards flood and drought protection across the province, including $3.5 million going towards 20 projects to protect watersheds. The funding will help 17 nonprofits, 2 counties and 1 city restore riverbanks and watersheds, stabilize stream banks, and improve the natural movement of water to mitigate floods and droughts. Environment Lethbridge is one recipient that will receive $126,000 from the initiative. The funding will go towards facilitating the urban watershed stewardship and working with urban homeowners to reduce water use and improve water retention.
Sure. I mean, we all know in Lethbridge and Southern Alberta that water has been a big concern. Last year, we were all very worried about drought, and coming into this year as well. So I think it's top of mind for lots of people. So it's really good to see the province contributing some money to help communities like Lethbridge and across Southern Alberta really address some of these concerns at the local level. This project, really we're going to be working with homeowners to help them reduce their outdoor water usage. And one of the things we hear from homeowners all the time is that they're really keen to make changes, but they feel kind of lost when it comes to choosing the right plants or changing their lawn or doing all of those kind of things. And then we hope to see people starting to make on-the-ground changes starting next spring.
To learn more or sign up for the program, residents can head to the Environment Lethbridge website. Another $3.5 million is open in funding for more watershed resilience and restoration projects. Organizations and municipalities can apply until September the 15th. RCMP in Fort St. John in northern British Columbia believe a man from that city who has been declared missing might be in the Lethbridge area. Mounties say that 24-year-old Colton Swift was reported missing on July 8th, but has not been seen since March 24th of this year. Swift is described as Caucasian with blonde hair, green eyes, and wears glasses. He is 6 feet tall and weighs around 150 pounds. Fort St. John to Lethbridge is about an 11-hour drive. Anyone who has information about Swift or his whereabouts can call Fort St. John RCMP at 250-787-8100. Lethbridge police are warning the public to be aware of a photo radar scam after multiple reports from citizens who have received suspicious text messages over the last few days. Police say this new take on a common phishing scam has victims receiving text messages from Alberta Drive Safe, Safe Roads Alberta, or the city of Lethbridge stating the individual has an unpaid ticket from Photo Radar. In the text, you're told to click on a link within the text to pay the ticket there. Police say government agencies will not send out text messages with links requesting information or payment. Photo Radar tickets are mailed out to the registered owner of a vehicle. If no payment is received, the fine will be levied against the registration of the vehicle. Police say if you receive an unsolicited text or email with a link attached, do not click the link and delete that text message immediately. You can search to see if you have any outstanding tickets at traffictickets.alberta.ca and find more information regarding the scam at alberta.ca/fines-enforcement-program. At Thursday's Economic and Finance Standing Policy Committee meeting, the board heard members of the Lethbridge Police Service discuss what it would cost to introduce body-worn cameras to the city's officers. It was recommended that council approve $550,000 in 2025 and $914,000 in 2026. And would be funded by the Municipal Revenue Stabilization Reserve. A provincial grant is available that would cover $205,000 each year for the 3 years. The province announced in 2023 it would require all police officers to wear body cameras by 2026 in order to increase transparency and accountability.
I think it's a welcome news for the department, and obviously all the citizens in Lethbridge. Use of technology is right now becoming more and more critical in our service delivery and ensuring transparency and our what we do every day. And certainly this is welcome news, not only for the community but also for our officers who've been looking forward to this for a long time.
I certainly see an advantage with body-worn cameras, that perhaps it'll deter some of the escalation of violence when someone is upset at the situation and the police force comes in, that perhaps they will not resort to yelling and screaming or perhaps trying to hurt them because they know that their own actions are being recorded.
The body cam mandate extends to all police services in Alberta, which includes the RCMP, all municipal police services, and self-administered Indigenous police services. Long before tonight's classic car-controlled cruise gets underway, many of these timeless vehicles have already been observed rolling down the streets of Lethbridge. The cruise doesn't get underway until 7 p.m. through most of 3rd Avenue South and the streets circling Galt Gardens, yet car enthusiasts from all over Alberta and Western Canada began showing off their stylish cars or trucks to onlookers, already setting up tents and their chairs by the early afternoon.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. It brings everyone together. It's a fun time. Just to see all the people, you know, a lot of people you only see once a year, and this is the place you see them at, and just to see what everyone's working on, what everyone's been doing, and it doesn't get any better than this.
Other events this weekend to look out for include the 100-foot dash at the exhibition grounds and the show and shine at Galt Gardens throughout Sunday. Should be fun. And speaking of outdoor shows, the Calgary Stampede is the most successful summer bash in Canada by a huge margin. Consider Toronto's Canadian National Exhibition. Last year, it drew 1.5 million visitors from a Toronto metro area of 7 million people, while the Stampede attracted 1.48 million from a metro population of 1.6 million for a shorter 10-day event. This week, BCN's Naveen Day visited the greatest outdoor show on earth and met some local royalty.
You know, there's just too much going on at Calgary Stampede for me to summarize in a short amount of time. You may just have to check it out for yourself if you've never been here. In addition to the Midway, there's displays, presentations, food, and many people taking pictures in front of these Ooh-hey letters behind me.
It's Yahoo, you're on the wrong side.
And many people taking their pictures in front of these Yahoo letters. But we need to take some time to highlight some Stampede royalty. What all goes into becoming a Calgary Stampede princess, and how does one become one? I'm curious because maybe I may not qualify to be one, but I'm sure there's people out there that may want to become one. So I'm here with Brianna Correa. She is the 2025 Calgary Stampede princess. Brianna, what does a Calgary Stampede princess do?
So I represent the amazing organization under the C Lazy S brand. That means that 365 days of the year, I live and breathe the amazing things that the Calgary Stampede does. That brand doesn't just stand for our iconic rodeo, it stands for community spirit. A lot of what we do here is giving back to this community that supports us during these 10 days. So going around having breakfast with our older generations, you know, bringing kids with disabilities onto the park, things like that, so that we're able to really reach out to our community and bring them into the fun that we have here.
Now, obviously there's a process because I'm sure more than just one person wants to be this princess. So do you audition? Is there a competition? Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. We had about a month-and-a-half long contest. There were 7 girls competing this year, all incredibly amazing cowgirls. But just like that, we have to be cowgirls. We need to be able to ride, we need to be able to speak, we need to be able to make friends with our community. So it was a rigorous judging process that is whole encompassing of who you are as a horsewoman.
You know, when you're watching a kids movie, there's usually a princess in there, but here at the Calgary Stampede, it's not one, but 2 princesses that you can see in real life. And one of them is joining me right now. I'm here with Pacey Strangling Wolf. She is the 2025 First Nations Princess. Pacey, great to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
I'm sure there's a lot of Indigenous youth out there that want to become just like Pacey one day. So tell us a little bit about the criteria that needs to be, the criteria that they're looking for.
So we recommend women to be from Treaty 7 because that is who we are from. So when the beginning of Stampede, Guy Wiedek, the creator of Stampede, he brought in all the elders from Treaty 7 to represent, to bring their culture in. And from then, it's been like that. And so just be from Treaty 7, 19 to 25.
Excellent. And while we're talking more about this, can you just tell us about the importance of having like a First Nations princess and Indigenous representation at the Calgary Stampede?
So the Calgary Stampede has always built on two fundamental things: Western culture and Indigenous culture. So when Guy Wiedek created that, he wanted not just the Western culture showcase, but also Indigenous culture showcase. So me and Brianna represent the Western and Indigenous culture hand in hand, and we like to do that, go to community events, and we go to different events throughout the year, not just during 10 days of Stampede, but 365 days of this year that we represent the Calgary Stampede together.
That was the 2025 First Nations Princess Pacey Strangling Wolf. Pacey, thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
That is your Forum Daily West report. I'm Jeanette Roche. Thanks so much for watching.